Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. We're back again with episode 8 of Core Keeper. Ooh, we're doing really well. We've gotten a lot of cool stuff, so it's nice to kind of get in there and just kind of see, you know, like all the new updates that are out there. I think there was a small hotfix the other day, nothing major, so it's kind of cool to, you know, that they are like really working on Core Keeper, especially after the update just came out the other day. So in our last video, we went through and we were actually getting into making a minecart system, which I was showcasing how amazing that is, because minecarts are just, I mean, until you can port around the world, which we don't want to talk about that just yet, but until you can teleport around the world, you really want to just obviously focus on getting a minecart system because it's very cheap and inexpensive. And we found that great hammer. I almost said great sword. Imagine there was a great sword in this game. I don't know. So YouTube is great, and then we want to click on Yoda, which is interesting because I'm using the character name Yoda across all games right now. It's because I've been watching a lot of Star Wars timeline stuff right now. So all right, so we got in. We have our iron sledgehammer that we just upgraded, and of course we also upgraded our iron bow. And both of them have been, obviously, like when I say upgraded, I mean we went to our workbench and we did reinforce. One thing I didn't do was mention to the devs that I was hoping that we could maybe have it where there was a repair all button on this thing. So perhaps if anybody agrees with me in the comments about leaving that on, maybe I can, or about having that enabled, maybe I can mention it to the devs. I'll try to do that. Okay, so we have a little bit of copper. We have some railcart systems that are going up here, but in this situation we have to be a little bit cautious because, as we know, this area over here is a little bit dangerous. So we need to get a lot more copper, and copper's found pretty much anywhere and where we originally started, because yes, you start with copper, right? But because we have our sledgehammer, well, guess what? Look at the damage this outputs. Now, I'm not actually attacking as fast apparently as we could. Actually, Snap told me earlier today that apparently you can have up to, what was it, 200%? Snap? Is that what it was? 200% mining? Was it mining speed or movement speed that you mentioned? Might have been movement speed, actually. Yeah, it was movement. Okay, so there's an achievement on Steam that you can actually, if you walk 200% movement speed, you get an achievement on Steam, which is pretty awesome. But as for mining speed, I don't know. I know that there's some items that increase mining speed, but anyways, right now we are looking for copper, and now that we found that awesome, the big hammer that we're using, it's a lot easier to come back to these biomes and do it. Apparently there's a better item than this. I don't like spoilers, so for me, I like to keep it, you know, keep it behind the scenes. Also, I think there was some stuff. Yes, there was. Okay, so we got more ore, we have more vitality, faster things, nutrients, and I don't think our bird is ready for an upgrade yet. No, they're not. But overall, just like I said, we're just looking for resources right now, as we need a lot of copper. Technically, we need a lot of tin. We need a lot of tin. We need a lot of tin. You got a swift feather? Yeah, so with the new update for it, you can actually equip the feather on you while you also have an offhand too. Pretty cool, eh? So yeah, we want to also get a lot of tin so we can get lots of spikes. Somebody told me off stream that, or sorry, off video, that apparently spikes are not what they used to be. They said, I'm not gonna tell you any more than that. I'll just tell you that spikes are not what they used to be. Because they were watching the part where I kept talking about killing the devourer, but I still think we can try it. But they just said, you know, you might not get what you think you're gonna get out of it. So, but I don't think so, because like I don't know, like I don't understand how any other way you could kill the devourer other than using spikes to stop it, because it moves so fast. And yeah, oh, there's a little golden thing. What is this? A golden heartberry. What the hell is... When eaten, +9 food, +3.3 health every second can be cooked. Is this a rare item? Golden heartberry? I think I remember that. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that thing for some reason. I mean, it was on like a stone. It's a semi-rare. Okay, so nothing too crazy. It doesn't give like a perma effect, so I'm not too excited about it. Okay, so you need to max farming to grow old crop. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll just keep it in there, and then you can do with it what you will. Is there ever a farming perk that lets you turn things into seeds, or no? Is that not a thing? Like if you have like if you have like an item, can you turn it into seeds once you harvest it? Makes it easier to get seeds. Okay, okay. Yeah, so we're gonna keep doing this. I think that we'll have to experiment with the Devourer. The slime for the terraria slime, the one that we tried fighting and we keep dying to, that's gonna be trouble. I think it's gonna be I don't know if they got buffed or not. It feels like they definitely did. We're also still only rocking a iron bow, so I mean, truthfully, like, there are better weapons. So until we get something better, I don't know. Like, our attack speed is a lot better too. And we also have a lot of spread damage if I hold right click. So things have been improved, but I just, you know, for now, I don't really want to jump back in that slime boss until we're ready. Although we do get some pretty cool stuff with it. Like, I think we have, like, we get the slime mount and stuff like that. So there are some cool abilities, but yeah. So pretty much now, while we're in between the mode of heading over to, like, focus on iron, we are obviously just going to slow down while we try to build the minecarts. Core Keeper also is really good at kind of making you feel like, even though you need to slow down in the gameplay, that you're not really... Even though you have to slow down the gameplay, that you're not really... you know, it doesn't feel tedious, I guess, right? Because a lot of that time is that you're doing this. It feels nice because you're finding new items. The game doesn't make you feel like you're slowing down at all. And you kind of need to do this. Just like in Minecraft and all those other games, you kind of need to kind of take a step back and just like explore and, you know, build up your base a little bit. And Core Keeper lets you do that while still finding new things. Like, I still love the idea that you can find treasure chests and stuff like that. Like, I think that's just awesome that you can do that. So yeah, ideally, like, it's not the worst to slow down and make a minecart system down. Mind you, you don't have to do this. Like, if you're following along and going, okay, I'll do that next, you don't have to do this. I will say minecart rails are really, really, really useful. And they can actually be a big savior late game too. There's been times where I've died multiple times, like I said in the previous video, and the minecarts literally just saved me time and effort going back and doing that. So we'll get some tin while we're out here. As I said, we need a lot of tin anyways. So yeah, we'll do that. And for the minecarts, we have one that's going kind of like in a squiggly line up, and then I really want one to the right and really want one to the left. So eventually we'll have one that goes far, far, far left and just keeps going over top of water, and the same with like up and then down. But for now, I'll focus on the one that's just going to the iron biomes, because the iron biomes is the thing that scares us the most, as it's the one that's also going to be where the hive mother is. There's a bench that looks like a piano. Are you grabbing it? We're getting a lot of tin here, which is nice. I'm telling you, Snap, this hammer, like, it's something. Fruit, I found this hammer. It's called an iron sledgehammer. It's a brand new one. It hits up to like what seems to be 6 tiles at a time. So I'm just devouring like everything right now. Pretty crazy. Oh no! I think I walked into the hive mother area, or what it feels like I did, anyways. The hive mother is a boss that you don't really want to go into unless you're also really ready. From what I remember, the area around it is covered in acid. So when you enter into the area, you got to be very careful not to... What did I just pick up? Oh, a spear! Okay, so I got melee damage. Charge thrust. That's not really worth it. So yeah, you got to be a little bit cautious, because if you do go into like the lair, I think as soon as you go in there, little traps that show up. So is the hive mother has its own variants of traps. Let me just see if that's the case. I might be remembering wrong, but I think I am remembering right. The one thing that about Core Keeper that actually always confused me is how it kind of actually shows you like the... Oh, there it is. I'm in here. The larva wall. It actually shows you where the little sparkles indicating obviously where different ore is, and it shows you like a few tiles away. Now, I don't think they should do that. I mean, maybe it's just my opinion, but it kind of ruins the experience as if you have to mine out or not. So, you found a dog egg? Nice. Okay, so we found this, so we could probably... I think we can use these to get across. Yes, we can. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Oh, really? Okay. So it looks like... So it looks like if you use the hammer... Let's try it again. It does work. Obviously really slow. But it was destroying the bridges. That's kind of interesting. So the hammer will destroy bridges. So if you, for some odd reason, get yourself into a situation where you want to use the hammer, just know that if you do place it over top of a bridge, you probably are going to destroy it. So I'm guessing the same works for friends. Like if you have like a friend in the server, a tin sword, some torches, and a grub knot. Pretty crummy little bit of stuff. So yeah, if you have a friend that's in the server, they might accidentally hit stuff and destroy it when they don't actually mean to. So it might not be intentional, but just keep that in mind if you ever have anybody in the server doing that. So we got some grubs in here. Of course, the hive mother is like the grub central, so just be careful. What I usually like to do at this point, I'm not going to actually kill it. I'm just going to jump in here and mess around a little bit while killing the, you know, a few things if I can. I clear the way so I can kind of take a peek at the hive mother because it's been a while since I've seen it. But what I suggest doing is bringing spikes with you. And then what you do is you lay down the spikes because I believe they will chase after you. Like they're probably going to continue to chase after me here. And these ones kind of hurt a little bit. You can get an item that makes them not attack you. It's like a grub. I think it's like a grub outfit or something. I don't think I would really recommend that right now. Because even though you still have to make it, so it's something that you have to find all the pieces for. That's like a set, and then when you complete it, it says like grubs no longer attack you. Grub suit has like an achievement. Oh, does it? Yeah, and I think when you equip it, it has some sort of downfall. I forget what it is. There's something that it has. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's the. Like it's slower movement speed. I'm not too sure exactly, but I know it's something like that. So just keep that in mind if you decide to use it. So I just want to showcase the hive mother. I don't want to attack it. I don't want to get in here and do any damage to it. You know what? Actually, maybe I do. Maybe I want to just poke it a little bit, see how much damage it'll do to me. I'm not going to go in there and like, you know, attack it with a sword, but I would like to see how much range damage I can do with this tiny little thing that we got. All right, so we're in here. Okay, actually, we're doing an okay amount of damage. But yeah, that's the attack that it has. And then, like I said before, when it does attack, it causes acid to blast. Whoa! And then acid does damage over time. Okay, so we want to get out of here. We don't want to stay in here. So yeah, as time goes on, you'll definitely need some way of healing, but you can see that I'm not doing too much damage to it, and it'll release the grubs on you, so you got to be cautious about that. So that's why I talked about having spikes. Pretty much spikes are like universally good in Core Keeper. They're not bad at any time, and you know, once you get enough copper, you really don't care about whoever is making a million spikes for you. You know, like there was a time when I used to play Core Keeper, and every time I'd make a spike, every time I would make a spike, you know, you worry because you're like, oh, you're using like a little bit of copper on that just to get one spike out of it. But now when you look back, I'm like, oh, the more spikes, the better. So it's nice. And eventually, we will use those spikes that we might not need anymore for boss fights, because after our items get better, and we'll eventually use them for other things, like farms, and like when I'm referring to farms, I'm referring to auto farms, where slimes will basically fall into the spikes and stuff like that. So it's, you know, it's something. Yeah. All right, so let's go back home. I would have liked to actually, once again, have the minecart system, which we don't have right now. But that's what we're doing. Trying to get this. I could also use our hammer. Keep talking about it, but I'm not using it to get through all this grub. All right, let's keep doing it. Keep going down here. It seems like a good utility, which I'm gonna probably work on next, is an actual, like, you know, straight line left, right, up with this tool, because it looks like it's a good way of making a proper way for like a minecart to go through. So it clears out enough room for your actual, you know, little rails, and then it has another little area that it kind of gives you where, like, on each side you could put little pillars with little light sources. So it's just enough, the little sledgehammer gives you just enough to make you feel like it's doing what it needs to do to make a room for that. Oh, look, we actually set up an auto drill. Did you do the snap? So if you don't know what the auto drill does, or this is kind of like a smaller drill, there's a higher end drill than this. This is the beginner drill from what I remember. I think it might be called a crude drill, I think. So there's a generator, and this is where things get a little bit awesome in Core Keeper, even more awesome if you can imagine that. So when you get into generators, or you get into electricity in general, you can hide electricity. So you can actually hide how the electricity circuits go. Right now, because the generator is sitting right next to the drill will keep going and going and going. However, you've seen how it's just dropping the iron? Well, you can actually have it where there will be a crane here, so when it drops, it'll automatically place that inside of a chest. We'll set that up later on. We won't do it right now. But when you do get a crane, which I think in order to get a crane, we need Scarlet Bar for. So unfortunately, you can't do that yet. They did incorporate the crew drill. This, as far as I know, was never a thing until recent. So, and then they had sprinklers and stuff like that too. So yeah, we need Scarlet Ore in order to do that. But for now, it looks like it's going to be perfect. This will eventually dissipate and will go bad. And then, you know, we'll have to just, because they don't last forever, these mines. So once it's done, it'll stop, and then, you know, but at least we get a little bit of iron from it anyways. Okay, so let's deposit our iron. We found a ring of stone, which is not really needed right now. We did find some tin, which is great because we needed some tin. And it looks like somebody else is already smelting tin too. And we know that auto sort is Q. And then we're going to take back half the stack because why not? We are going to put our gold in here, and then we're going to go down the list of things that we want to leave behind. Okay, so first of all, some items like this. We got some bombs, we got some tin sword, we got a hunting spear. Looks like we found a musket. That's really slow attack speed, so I'm not going to really worry about that. Before I forget, I want to repair our items. So repair, and I want to reinforce because it's actually sitting, once again, because your items are sitting next to whatever you're using. Like when I mentioned before, is you're able to use the iron that is actually sitting inside this chest. So just remember that if you want to use things close by, the game has proximity chests, just like you would in other games, where as long as they're sitting next to each other, you can actually use the items that are in those chests. So just something to consider if you're ever playing and wondering how to do that. Okay, so unfortunately these chests are going to be pretty much stacked. We need to take as much as we can here. I also think it might be wise for us to take a pillar out of here. I usually like to leave just walls. Keep anything decorative out of here if we can. We can keep the ground slimes and stuff like that. That's not a huge problem. And then just jam everything else where they need to go. We did get some rails given to us last time before we left. Compliments of Snap. And so that's awesome. And of course we have some valuables. Hey, look, a lively egg, which I think, is that the egg? Is that what you're referring to? Is that the egg of the dog? Okay, we also got the little crystal skull shard, which we're going to need a lot of these. No, it's a loyal egg. Oh, okay. I put the golden heartberry in there with the crystal stuff. We have some trinkets. We have some other valuables, and we have a chest. So we'll put this right here. And we have these. I don't know if anything better came here for food. So right now we have 21 food, 4 HP recovery. To me, that seems pretty good. 20 food, 21 move speed, 25 max health for 5 minutes, 2.5. Okay, never mind. This is way better than... The soup is way better. Sorry, the hearty pepper wrap is way better, I should say. And then we have our trinkets, and then we have some other food that we should shove into here. Okay, so let's go over to our little friend here and oops, sorry, nope. Let's go into here and just put some stuff here because I don't really care about giving him something right now. All right, let's get back on our minecart. So the idea, like I said, was to just explore where we might want to make something. We know where the boss is now, which we already did because we used the scanners. We know that we're going to be smelting a ton of copper, which we currently are, so we can create more, so we can make more rails. Check the map table too. Okay, I will click on that. Oh, wow. Wait, did you follow it all the way around? Somebody... Wow, nice. Okay. That's a great way of doing that. Okay, perfect. I like that. Okay, so we have this stuff here. Also, the ground slimes and these sort of things could go into the other chest. So now we have lots of copper. I'm going to take more of these, and we're going to go mine carting. Where's minecart? No. I want to make... No, I don't want to do that. I want to make spikes, which requires tin. That's right. Sorry, I'm kind of a little bit out of track here. So there we go. So let's make tin from that. And then the rails, we're going to need a lot of these. So let's just grab whatever we can from the copper that we just mined. We actually mined more copper than that, but that's okay. The one bonus about Core Keeper is I don't know what the overall stack size is for items. I've never really figured that out. So it's kind of interesting, but it could be something we look into in the future, just because I'm assuming it's pretty high up there. Like, I've had items that maybe it's 999. Have you guys ever seen something like here? Let's see. We got 191 ground slime. Let's just see. Where's our ground slime at? No, it's in this one. 350. Yeah, 999. Okay. Yeah, I always wondered if they'd ever up that. It's curious like how they stop at that number. Seems like that's like a universal number for most games because they don't want to go any higher than that. Okay, so we have. So right now we're going to the main core of this. I do want to go to the right, which means we need to get a little bit more stuff in order to finish this. So for the next few episodes, we are going to be focusing on the minecart situation just because it does help us like navigate and get from point A to point B without having to kind of stop. So we're going to need this. We're going to need this. I will keep our scrap parts in our inventory, even though I sometimes like to keep them on our hotbar. I don't think I need to keep a shovel on a hotbar, so I'm actually going to move some stuff down so I can be easier with this. Now, if you are playing Core Keeper, you do know you can use the number pad 1 through blank. The iron pickaxe, I like to have them in my inventory on the hotbar just because they're very expensive. Okay, so that is episode number 8. I know that it was a quicker one because obviously we are mainly focused on where the bosses are. In the next few episodes, like I mentioned, we are going to be basically setting down a path for where we want these minecarts to go. Now, of course, this will take some time to do, but it is necessary for us to travel because we don't want to spend too much time, you know, going through the process of losing where we were, especially if we're going to be dying. We're going to die a lot to the Devourer. We're going to die a crazy amount to the Hive Mother, and so on and so on. So it's very crucial that we get this done. So that way, future uses, it's not going to be that problematic. Of course, we still have our farms going, which is very nice, and we're continuously getting more ore. After that, then I believe it's time for us to finally fight either the Hive Mother or the Devourer, whichever one we choose. We could try for the slime boss, for the I'm referring to the Terraria Slime King, but we will decide that. So I will see you in episode 9 of Core Keeper. We're really doing a great job so far, so huge shout out to Snap and Fruta. We will see you in the next one.